K798 here. It is time for your late, out of date video on my favorite films from 2012. I meant to do this video last year, but I kept putting it off, and I decided to do it now before I finally forget. And the first awesome movie of 2012 I gotta talk about is The Avengers. Man, no one was more amped and excited for this movie than me. And this movie, not only did it live up to expectations, it actually exceeded my expectations on a superhero film. The Avengers is one of the greatest superhero movies ever. It gave me more, in my opinion, than what I paid for. When I going into Avengers, I just want to see an action movie with Thor, Captain America, Hawkeye, the Incredible Hulk, Fury, and Iron Man. Iron Man, with Loki as the bad guy, and Thor. They did more than that. Not only did they not only did they combine good action with a really good script. I'm surprised how good the story and script was, and I love the characterizations and the chemistry between the actors. But they also went along the lines of the comic books. They also tried to follow the comic books. I didn't care much for comic book accuracy in this film. I just want to see a good action-packed superhero movie, and they did better than that. They tried to go on the lines of the original comics with Hawkeye, even though it's slightly different in this movie, with Hawkeye being a bad guy. Hawkeye being a bad guy, then becoming a good guy and staying a good guy, and with the Avengers originally coming together because of Loki. I love that. I did not expect to get any source of comic book accuracy in this film. This movie was awesome and one of the best movies ever. It is way better than Christopher Nolan's crappy ass crappy ass Batman trilogy, and way better than that overrated crap X-Men First Class. This right here is what a superhero movie should be. Then not only that, it improved, in my opinion, it improved some of the problems and flaws of the other movies in the Marvel Cinematic universe. In Iron Man 2, Scarlet Witch, who was one of the main female heroines in this film, I thought she sucked in Iron Man 2, but she was great here. Samuel L. Jackson, always loved him as Fury, but in Iron Man 2, he played Samuel L. Jackson. In my opinion, he didn't play Nick Fury. In this film, he acted more like Nick Fury from the comic books. Okay, that was The Avengers, and I can't wait for the sequel. Next is Ghost Rider 2. Okay, Ghost Rider movies really aren't that good, but I love the first one. I thought the script was really good, and I just think a guy, and I like Nicolas Cage, and I just think a flaming motorcycle rider with a skull is pretty badass. So I was amped for this movie, and actually I was amped for this movie when I heard that the sequel was finally on. I didn't think they would ever make a sequel, because while the first one made a lot of money, it wasn't liked. It wasn't liked really by anyone. But I enjoyed the first movie. Both of these movies are part of that so bad it's good category. Also, they're both hilarious and just awesome and entertaining. Ghost Rider 2, I thought story and script wise sucked, but special effects and action and comedy, I thought it was there. And the sub boss bad guy was pretty cool. And Ghost Rider 2 felt more like the comic book Ghost Rider than the first one did, but I thought the first one had a better screenplay. But that's me. And I would happily see a sequel of Ghost Rider 2, and I would happily review. I didn't feel like reviewing Ghost Rider 2 in 2012 because I couldn't find my original Ghost Rider movie. If I can find my original Ghost Rider movie and get a copy of 2, then I'll review both of these movies, and then and if these movies are good enough to make another sequel, which I think they said they're gonna make another sequel because Ghost Rider 2 still made money, I'll happily go watch it. Next movie is Dredd. I love the original Judge Dredd in 1995 with Sylvester Stallone, despite the problems. And I thought a reboot, I thought reboot going closer to the source material would be good. And I love the actor Carl Urban, who I first saw in the Chronicles of Riddick. Carl Urban, he was awesome as Dredd. Then I loved how this movie was entertaining. I think Stallone was better for the role of Dredd though, because he looks more like Dredd. But Carl Urban did a fantastic job too. The story was pretty good, and I love how this film goes follows the source material, goes on the lines of the original Judge Dredd. I think Judge Dredd AD Comics. I think that's the comic book series they follow. Uh, it sucks Dredd didn't really make any money, because I would love to see sequels to this, but this was an awesome reboot. What a reboot and remake is supposed to be. A remake, in my opinion, a reboot is supposed to not only improve the previous film, but correct all the bad things the original film did. This is my opinion. This and Captain America are the only reboots to actually do that. One of the many times where your reboot is better than your original film series. Um, next is next is what was next on this list? Oh yes, the video game movie Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph. Like I said in my Wreck-It Ralph review, I originally wanted I wanted to do something with a friend of mine who was in town, and I originally wanted to go see the movie The Man with Iron Fist, but the movie theater I go to alone didn't have it, so I chose to see Wreck-It Ralph, which was the second movie I wanted to see. If Iron Fist was never available, I wanted to see Wreck-It Ralph, and this movie was awesome. It was way better than I was expecting to be. I just want to see the video game cameos of Ryu, Bison, the guy who looks like Kano, pretty much all of it, Pac-Man, Cuber, all the classic video game characters. But this plot, this entire movie was everything a video game movie and a Disney movie should be. I'm surprised a Disney movie that was actually good. I love the characters. The plot was awesome, and the cameos were awesome, and the movie was pretty damn hilarious. Wreck-It Ralph was an awesome movie and one of the best Disney movies in a long time. And I think the Disney movies and Pixar movies and most of the CGI movies we see nowadays, I think, are kind of overrated. But that's me. The last movie on the list, and oh yes, this one surprised me, was The Dark Knight Rises. I just wanted to do something with my dad. I really didn't want to see this movie. It was this or The Amazing Spider-Man, and I really didn't want to watch The Amazing Spider-Man. I'm sorry, I kind of hate that movie. And The Dark Knight Rises, I did not expect this movie to be good, because when I saw the leak shots and stuff in early 2012 and read the script, I could tell it wasn't, once again, a thing with Nolan's just like with Nolan's other two Batman movies, doesn't follow the source material. But unlike the first two movies, Batman Begins and Dark Knight, were complete garbage. This one, while not following the source material, and in my opinion, once again, ruining and just disgracing and altering the source material of Batman, this movie on its own was entertaining. This movie was just like movies such as G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Mad Max, and the third Transformers movie. It was still a pretty good millet action like film, but it was surprisingly a good action film. This movie was entertaining from start to finish. I actually cared about the characters. The script was decent. If you can ignore the holes from the previous two movies, and it was just entertaining. Tom Hardy was an awesome bad guy. His Bane, in my opinion, was not Bane at all, but he was a good bad guy on his own. This character was more like Lord Humongous from Mad Max 2, Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe, and Darth Vader from Star Wars, and Reptile from Mortal Kombat. But this The Dark Knight Rises was surprisingly an entertaining movie, and this is coming from a guy who hates the Nolan Batman universe. I think the Nolan Batman universe is one of the worst and most overrated superhero movies franchises ever, alongside the X-Men First Class movie. All right. This has been Doug's favorite movies. I'll review each of these movies when I get a chance. Avengers will be the first because I actually do own Avengers right now. All right. Doug out.